So let's talk about Dražen Bender for a second. And I actually want to present the idea of a comparison for him. Where my brain immediately goes to is like a more athletic Celtics Al Horford. I say Celtics Horford because in Atlanta he was posting up a little bit more and not shooting as many threes, but when you look at the Boston Celtic Horford, the way he defends the pick and roll and has the ball in his hands and also makes three-pointers, I feel like Bender can kind of strive for that. He's not as strong as Horford is, but like I mentioned already, he is more athletic, and when we look at the way he's been filling up the stat sheet a bit for us lately, I think there are some things that are interesting. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists a game, a block a game is cool as well. The reason why we have the black bars in the top and the bottom is because I can't reveal to you the outcome of the game that I play in this video. So, there's that for you. Against the Pelicans, Bender did something. I forgot because I was too busy talking about the black bars. He got a rebound and he passed it to Devin Booker, so that's a good thing. So he at least had 1 rebound and 1 assist on the game. His ball handling needs to improve. He's like in the 60s in terms of ball control and all that in 2K. We'll work on it. That's actually pretty okay for a big nonetheless to be that good, but I do think he has another level to get to. 8 rebounds and 3 assists against the Grizzlies. He also couldn't make a three-pointer at all. 0 for 7. That's a rough game. I think he could be like a Ryan Anderson, actually better than Ryan Anderson type of three-point shooter because he's like over 7 feet tall. Bender could actually be a matchup nightmare for a lot of opposing bigs. And we have to work on his contested threes because I think he could be really something given his height from there. But he was still able to make an impact in this game even if he was not able to really put the ball in the basket that much. Then here against the Clippers, 7 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocked shots that we're not going to see because getting a blocked shot in this game, like, immediately is apparently the toughest thing in the world. The 3-point shot was definitely better in this game. The minutes management for Bender is interesting just because we do have quite a few 3s and 4s, and we currently have the Marquise Chris Mitchell-Robinson situation going on at center. Bender's doing some good things. We'll see if he can manage to do some things in this game against San Antonio, as he made a glitchy layup right there. Lance Stevenson is on the Spurs. I don't know how we feel about that. Also, here's the game sliders real quick for you that I ended up doing some adjustments on as the game was going on. A lot of it is adjusting the CPU's tendencies so they're more aggressive, making all their awarenesses and consistencies better, and then for me it's decreasing the athleticism kind of throughout and making us a little worse on defense to hopefully just make the game a little more difficult, you know? The Spurs starting 5 is kind of whacked out. It's a whole bunch of guys and then Kawhi Leonard essentially. Maybe this is why there are rumors that Kawhi wants out, even if he just said the other day that he wants to remain with the Spurs his entire career. So, who the hell knows what's going on in that situation? Joffrey Laverne just flew like 12 feet to contest that shot from Booker. Luckily, we made it in anyway. Michael Porter Jr. going off the dribble to Tyson Chandler. I wonder what's going to happen to Tyson Chandler this year, or after this year, because he could still be on our team next season, but he would have to be on like a minimum salary sort of thing. Oof, Kawhi. That's rough for whoever just got dunked on. You know what's an interesting story? Is that Kawhi Leonard is having some trouble getting his own signature shoe, which kind of makes sense because the dude's like the most boring person in the NBA. Like if I was in the NBA, I would be Kawhi Leonard, right? So are 15 to 25-year-olds really being influenced by Kawhi Leonard to buy shoes? I mean, yeah, he's a great player, but I feel like the demographic for Kawhi Leonard isn't exactly the people who would just go out and buy shoes all the time, you know? So we'll see what happens with that situation. Devin Booker can make a shot, which is the normal thing when I use him. After this game, I finally changed his release to normal. I was going to change it earlier, but then I did not bad with him in the previous game I played, so I was like, you know what, we'll give it one more go, and then here I was like, alright, I'm done, I'm going to the normal release. Dražen Bender. See, in a situation like that one with Danny Green on him, I mean, I probably should have shot the three-pointer anyway, but I would like to think that with a better contested three, Bender could be really good in that situation when he has a guard on him, because, I mean, Danny Green's, 6'6", and Bender's, 7 feet tall, so you'd think he'd be able to make shots like that pretty easily. Marquise Chris is in the game. Mitchell Robinson doesn't play because he's hurt, and it's been kind of lingering for him for 2 weeks, so I'd rather just not have him in the game, which bums me out a little bit because I'd love to see them both out there at different times. Was that Josh Jackson hitting a three-pointer? That looks good. He's just coming along as a shooter, you know? He's never going to be that great, but if he could just be not bad. Another situation here where I choose to go off the dribble with Bender. Maybe he should have just shot the three-pointer. He's not really the type of guy who can do stuff in the post like that, but Marquise Chris, oof. We got some guys looking good. Josh Jackson making threes. Marquise Chris doing center things. We're playing Bender and Chris together, and it's not a disaster. Kawhi Leonard isolation could become a disaster for us. I was very eager to play defense, as I just jumped like a crazy person with TJ Warren. Lance Stevenson dribbling into all kinds of traffic is not the best thing in the world, but it's a very Lance Stevenson thing to do. That's a good shot for Bender, just simply didn't go in. If we get 3 more of those shots, I would be very happy with the results. I have to assume that at least 1 or 2 of them would go in, you know? DeJounte didn't have the prettiest offensive possession there. Just kind of forced his way in there to do nothing. And eventually that shot falls in for Dražen Bender. Don't you love when 2K just gets super trolly with the jump shots and you don't know if it's going to go in or not? In a real NBA season, I don't know how many three-pointers end up going in where they bounce around the rim and the backboard a million times, but in 2K it happens 4 times a game, to the point where, shout out to Marquise Chris, those transition buckets that I speak of, those bouncing around baskets happen to the point where it's you don't even feel good when you make it, because it's well, did I actually make that, or did the gods of gravity just grant me that one? Who knows? The hell am I talking about in this video? I'm talking about gravity and Kawhi Leonard's lack of shoes. I'm surprised Marquise Chris didn't get blocked right there. And then Kawhi Leonard just totally ignored Patrick Beverley's existence, doing a LeBron James impression. Can we get a 3-point playoff with about 7 seconds left? Well, the play itself was already a screw-up. DeJounte did a good job of stepping up on Devin Booker there. Even then, I could have been a little better on the release. We have ourselves a good game. Have we gotten to the point now where no matter when I play, it's always going to be a close game? Because, truth be told, we still suck. Michael Porter Jr. hitting shots like that makes us suck a little bit less. But you'd think we'd have trouble with a team against, if I know how to talk, you'd figure we'd have trouble against the Spurs, but they also have a really weird roster where I don't know if LaMarcus Aldridge is out or if he's gone. I don't know. We should take a look. He's probably injured. Also, the Spurs just love to rest people, so maybe that's the situation with him. Anyway, Patty Mills, shout out to him. Kyle Anderson was open at the 3-point line right there. Maybe should have gotten him the ball, but that's something that I miss all the time when I'm in that same scenario. A 6-point game. San Antonio's offense has been rough without Kawhi Leonard in there. Troy Daniels finally gets some run. And look, another one of the infamous bouncing around 3-point shots where, did I actually make that? I mean, I did because it's a video game and it's dependent on timing. But if that happened in real life, I wouldn't feel that special about making the shot. Anyway, we got a 9-point game. Our offense wasn't even that crazy. I think we're shooting 44% from the field, which, I mean, is not horrible, I guess, but Spurs offense just sucked. Is really what's going on here. Josh Jackson at the 3 as opposed to TJ Warren, mainly to defend Kawhi Leonard. Whether it actually makes a difference or not, who knows? I thought that an isolation with Brandon Knight was the right decision. I don't know about that one. Josh Jackson able to somewhat stop Kawhi Leonard's momentum, but it didn't really matter. Kawhi's going nuts, man. 7 points, 3.5 minutes. I believe Devin Booker's coming back in the game. I think he and Michael Porter Jr., they both actually had a decent amount of time in the fourth quarter where they were not in the game for stamina reasons, and also it was going kind of okay for a minute. Anyway, San Antonio finally running like a real Spursy play. You see, those field goal percentages are like where I'd like the game to be. Neither one of us going too crazy, but able to make shots nonetheless, because that was a really bad pass by me. I thought Marquise Chris was Troy Daniels, so I almost shot it, and then I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Isolation, Devin Booker, through contact. Oof, that was nasty. We gotta look at that one more time. DeJounte Murray in front of him, a very good defender. Then the dude slides over. That is a tough finish. That is a superstar finish from Devin Booker right there. He's happy with himself. I mean, remember in the very first episode I said, can Devin Booker lead a team? Those are the type of plays you gotta make if you want to lead a team. But the Spurs have Kawhi Leonard, and he pulls off the greatest move ever with the around the back into the mid-range jumper. That was pretty damn good looking. That reminds me of like a cheese move that I would use with LeBron James back in like 2K11 or something. You would just press the right trigger, and it would be this like automatic crossover animation that would almost always lead to a defender getting off balance or whatever. 2K is a great game is what I'm getting at here. Troy Daniels wasn't open there, Devin Booker wasn't open there, and that's what happens when you go at Kawhi Leonard sometimes. I typically try to avoid Kawhi, which is another reason why I put Josh Jackson in the game, because it's like, well, he can play defense and then he just doesn't have to do anything on offense. Speaking of which, he's at the free throw line, misses. He missed that one. I don't remember if he missed the first one or not. Lance Stevenson, always up for the dramatic. DeJounte, that's a damn good shot by Murray. That's a tough one too. Josh Jackson on the closeout. That's the difference between an okay three-point shooter and a legit good one, and maybe DeJounte's making some progress there. What the hell was that by me? You know what we need to point out? I am turnover prone in late game situations, okay? The same thing happened in a previous game against I don't remember who. So, I need to stop doing that, essentially. Troy Daniels, though, very good on free throws, 6 points. What are the Spurs going to do? I assume Kawhi Leonard's going to be doing something. It seems to be the case. Not a bad contest by Josh Jackson. Seems like we're going to get out of here with a W. Now, they actually made like another three-pointer super late, and I would have made a bigger deal about that free throw, but they have no timeouts. So, you know, they're going to miss the full court shot, even though 2K loves to make it close every single time. A good win. And hopefully the sliders moving forward are good, because they felt pretty good towards the end there. I also say that all the time, but who knows? Anyway, shout out to Popovich.